This year has been an absolutely stacked year for Metroidvanias. I am talking gigantic maps, brutal boss fights, and pixel art so good it hurts. Here are the top 25 Metroidvania indie games of 2026 you absolutely need to play. Barbarian Saga The Beastmaster. Picture 80s fantasy flicks like Conan and Beastmaster fused with Castlevania and Golden Axe. That's the vibe Barbarian Saga The Beastmaster is chasing, and it nails it. Made by Dormidin Studio, two friends who met at a cosplay event and decided to build their dream game, and the hand-drawn art proves it every frame. Animated the old-school way, hundreds of sketches deep. You're one of the last Beastmasters in war-torn Arborea, wielding a heart-devouring sword while shifting between human and beast forms to survive a war against non-humans. Those transformations double as your Metroidvania toolkit, cracking open new paths across a continuous map as you collect souls, fangs, and ritual amulets. Multiple endings mean you decide Arborea's fate. SELINI. Some Metroidvanias hold your hand. SELINI grabs that hand, throws it away, and dares you to figure things out yourself, and it's all the better for it. Developed by Simbin, a small team living by the big dreams don't need big teams mantra, this is a wordless journey through fog-choked wastelands, dead machinery, and quiet robot companionship, drawing heavy comparisons to Inside and Environmental Station Alpha. You guide a lone replicant through a war-torn metropolis, dunes, forests, and seas, unraveling a cryptic world of corrupted replicants and brutal war machines. With zero dialogue and zero guidance, nothing is explained. Every ability, every hidden mechanism, every long-term objective reveals itself purely through exploration and patience. RUBATO. This is the kind of unhinged premise that immediately earns a spot on any list. A solar system gets destroyed because one guy screws up a game of pool, and now you have to save it. Made almost entirely solo by developer Decon, with headcanon handling the console ports, RUBATO is a physics-based collectathon that also happens to be a full-blown Metroidvania in disguise. Here's the twist. Your main tool isn't a sword or a gun, it's your tongue. You'll be licking enemies and objects to swing, grab, and navigate. 5 compact, densely packed areas, from a sprawling bakery to what's described as the world's most poorly planned city, all while collecting planet bits to fix the shattered solar system. But don't let the silliness fool you. RUBATO shifts between genuinely funny and surprisingly sincere writing about feeling lost and healing. Blighted. When Drinkbox Studios says something is their largest and most ambitious game to date, you sit up and listen, because these are the folks behind Guacamelee and Nobody Saves the World. Blighted is their first true 3D Metroidvania, an isometric action RPG set in a psychedelic Western nightmare that's giving off serious Hades and Tunic vibes. You're battling through this twisted world to reclaim the memories of your people, harnessing the Blight, a dynamic difficulty system that literally reshapes enemies, your abilities, and the environment the better you play. Devour the brains of defeated bosses to steal their memories, grow stronger, and crack open hidden paths. Combat is fast, punishing, and combo-driven, with the option to tackle it all solo or drop in co-op with a friend. This is fine. Maximum cope. You know the meme, dog, coffee house on fire? This is fine. Now, imagine that dog getting an entire Metroidvania built inside his own anxious brain. And that's This Is Fine. Maximum cope from Numbskull Games and Hero Concept. Question Hound finally steps out of the flames after 13 years and dives into a collapsing theme park shaped by his own everyday worries. You'll explore 5 distinct worlds, representing things like humiliation, failure, and regret. Think teenage embarrassments and workplace dread turned into literal levels, battling personified daily worries, and 6 major bosses guarding your ability upgrades. The cope mechanic keeps things grounded. Collect coffee beans to refill your mug and manage Question Hound's mental state while unlocking 27 perks along the way. The hand-drawn art makes every frame feel like a living comic strip, and the writing balances genuine laughs with surprisingly sincere moments about anxiety. Trizna. If you're craving that Souls-like precision layered on top of Metroidvania exploration, Trizna is going straight to the top of your wish list. Developed by Lenive and Bezdarin, this dark fantasy pulls deep from Slavic mythology and folklore, and its very title is named after an ancient pagan funeral rite which tells you everything about the tone you're stepping into. You awaken as a nameless fallen warrior, denied a proper burial, and resurrected by a powerful witch as her mindless tool. As you explore and grow stronger, you'll gain the will to choose your own path, serve the witch side with her enigmatic enemies, or defy them all. Combat leans hard into weapon variety, evasions, parries, and counterattacks that punish sloppy play. The standout mechanic is the Shadow Realm, a volatile, distorted mirror of the world you can shift into at will to bypass obstacles and uncover secrets. Nocturnal 2. Sunnyside Games is back with the sequel to their acclaimed Nocturnal, and this one's built entirely around a genuinely brilliant hook. Your sword doesn't stay lit on its own. As Ardashir, bearer of the enduring flame, you strike fire sources to ignite your blade, pushing back darkness and unleashing stylish abilities. But that flame can be extinguished by enemies at any moment, so managing your light source becomes as important as managing your health. You're exploring a forgotten city inspired by Persian architecture that consumed itself long ago, uncovering an interconnected world and unlocking new routes as fresh abilities open old paths back up. Combat is fast, juggle-focused, and satisfyingly kinetic, letting you hurl and combo enemies into ash while mixing fire gems to unlock new spells. The hand-drawn animation is gorgeous, the atmosphere is oppressive in the best way, and multiple secret endings mean there's real incentive to dig into every shadowy corner. Little Nemo and the Guardians of Slumberland. Some Metroidvanias go dark and grim. This one goes straight for pure hand-drawn nostalgia, and it's absolutely charming. Based on Winsor McCay's early 1900s comic strip and built almost single-handedly by developer David Morrow over 3 years, Little Nemo and the Guardians of Slumberland is a love letter to NES-era Capcom and Nintendo platformers wrapped in a Metroidvania structure. You play as Nemo, armed with toys, candy, and stuffed animals, exploring a vast, seamless dream world made of wildly distinct regions as the waters of oblivion threaten to wash it all away. Every new toy grants a fresh ability, cracking open new paths and combat options as you push deeper into Slumberland's secrets and collectibles. Every frame is hand-animated, giving the whole game a genuine storybook quality, and Peter Berkman of Anamanaguchi delivers a fantastic original soundtrack to match. Chronoscript The Endless End. Now this is one of the most genuinely inventive premises on this whole list. From Deskworks and Shueisha Games, Chronoscript The Endless End casts you as Frederick G. Muller, an editor summoned to a remote manor, bitten by a mysterious mosquito, and trapped inside the pages of a 1,000-year-old manuscript penned by an immortal vampire author who's lost sight of her own ending. The gameplay structure is what sells it. You explore a fully 3D manuscript manor to find scattered pages. Then dive into those pages as gorgeous, hand-drawn, pen and ink 2D worlds where the real action platforming happens. You'll fight the ruined, twisted, corrupted souls of people who died tragically, unlocking dynamic, ink-traversing moves and combat abilities as you push the endless story toward its final chapter. The dual-dimension concept alone makes this stand out visually and mechanically from anything else in the genre right now. Echo Weaver. From the team behind The Wild at Heart, Echo Weaver takes the Metroidvania formula and asks a genuinely fascinating question. What if your only real upgrade was knowledge? You're the last surviving Weaver, trapped in a glitching time loop within the ruined world of Provenance, wielding a reality-bending glaive as your one true tool. There's no traditional gear grind here. Every reset teaches you something new about the world's layout, hazards, and hidden routes. And it's that accumulated sophisticated knowledge that lets you push further and eventually break the cycle for good. The glaive itself is brilliant. Throw it, summon it back from anywhere, or teleport directly to wherever it lands, opening up constant new traversal tricks. Add scrappy survivor characters, a deep conspiracy to untangle, and movement that feels great right out of the gate, and you've got one of the most inventive takes on the genre this year. Foreign Sun. Most Metroidvanias give you a static world to explore. Foreign Sun gives you a living, breaking one that actually reacts to what you do. Developed by Final Scene Dev, this 2D Souls-like action RPG drops you into a sprawling, sinking metropolis on a pilgrimage toward the mysterious Eternal Lighthouse. And every choice you make genuinely reshapes the city around you. Streets flood, buildings collapse, NPCs vanish or shift allegiance, and safe routes can suddenly turn hostile, all depending on how you navigate factions and their competing agendas. Combat mixes melee and ranged options with a satisfying deflect system, while forbidden abilities let you alter your form to traverse the sinking world. Though every power here seems to come with a cost. With 7+ possible endings, this is a game built for replaying. The moody, restrained pixel art leans on lighting and atmosphere over spectacle, and it works beautifully. Infinitevania. If you grew up on Castlevania Symphony of the Night and still crave that exact formula with modern polish, Infinitevania is basically built in a lab for you. This Brazilian-developed Metroidvania wears its inspirations proudly, blending SOTN's castle-crawling DNA with Hollow Knight's exploration philosophy, all wrapped in a retro pixel art package that moves like a genuinely modern title. You're mysteriously transported to the hostile world of Infinitevania, exploring 5 interconnected biomes: castle, forest, hive, lava, and crypt, while defeating elite creatures and absorbing their souls for permanent powers. This is where the game shines. Traversal abilities like wall climb and double jump, plus combat tools like the Infinity Sword and Moonwalker Dash, all gate progression in classic Mega Man meets Metroidvania fashion. With multiple endings, an ambiguous true nature behind the core itself, and a satisfying 7-hour runtime for full completion, Infinitevania sits at 91% positive on Steam. Maseylia Echoes of the Past. Most Metroidvanias live comfortably on a flat plane. Maseylia Echoes of the Past throws that out and asks whether the genre actually works in true 3D. Built by French two-person studio Soul Brothers as their debut title, this one draws from Metroid Prime's exploration, Mobius's visual style, and Pseudo-Regalia's fluid movement, and somehow it all clicks. Set on the ancient world of Maseylia, shaped by 2 suns and a planetary force called the Heart of Maseylia, you play as a young Maselian navigating the aftermath of a war between your people and skyborn invaders. You'll explore 6 various biomes: ruins, caverns, buried cities, forests, alien structures, unlocking abilities like air dash, double jump, and underwater traversal that completely reshape how you move through this fully interconnected 3D space. The real achievement here is spatial clarity. Even moving across multiple axes, the world stays readable, so every new upgrade feels genuinely earned. Mask of Soul. Korean mythology gets a genuinely striking Metroidvania treatment here, and the parry-focused combat alone makes Mask of Soul worth putting on your radar. You play as Chong-O Chasa, a grim reaper and gatekeeper of the underworld, hunting down escaped spirits after the boundary between the living and the dead collapses under a crimson red moon. Combat is all about reading enemy patterns and countering with precise timing. A successful parry doesn't just deal damage, it breaks the enemy's vigor for powerful counterattacks, and bosses each demand entirely different rhythms and speeds to crack. The real toolkit twist comes from spirit masks collected while exploring corrupted regions, each granting unique skills, stats, and even different action animations, encouraging you to swap loadouts based on the fight ahead. Visually, it's a dreamlike, chilling reinterpretation of traditional Korean fantasy. The underworld, yacha spirits, ancient seals, all rendered in hand-drawn dark fantasy style. Solateria. If 9 Souls left you craving more precision parry action, Studio Doodle's Solateria is here to keep that flame burning. quite literally. You play as Tot, a small fire warrior with no memories, waking into the land of Solateria, once blessed by the primordial flame, now ravaged by the deadly shadow plague. Your only clue is a voice urging you to find the vanished king and save the world, and the path there runs through some genuinely tough, corrupted bosses. Combat lives and dies on parry timing, reading enemy patterns, landing precise deflects, and chaining into stylish counterattacks. A robust progression system lets you enhance core stones and equip parts across 4 categories, building synergies that shape your own personal combat style as you unlock heat cores and grow stronger at king statues scattered across the world. Shattered Divinities. Scale is the name of the game here. A divine war tore the world apart, and Shattered Divinities drops you into the aftermath as a warrior awakening among the wreckage of 9 broken lands, each with its own different style and over 100 intricate maps to explore. This is a big, ambitious 2D pixel art Metroidvania. You're piecing together the deity's downfall through the traces they left behind, bloodstains from the guide, notes from the researcher, an unfulfilled duty from the gatekeeper, while battling 20 powerful bosses corrupted by divine power. The real hook is the ability shard system. Harness fragments of the fallen god's power to forge your own combat identity, whether that's reckless, heavy-hitting devastation, precise blade-edge technique, or relentless high-speed combo storms. With phase-step dodges, ethereal step maneuvering, and deep build customization on top of a genuinely dark, mysterious narrative, Shattered Divinities is an ambitious slice of divine decay fantasy well worth diving into. Bloodstained, the Scarlet engagement. When Koji Igarashi's name is attached, you know exactly what kind of Metroidvania pedigree you're getting, and Bloodstained, the Scarlet engagement delivers it. As a prequel to the beloved Ritual of the Night, set in a 16th century England terrorized by the demonic ethereal castle, you control 2 heroes at once, Leonard Brandon, a young Black Wolves fighter, and Alexander Keitler, the last surviving White Stag's knight, teaming up against the demon lord Elias and his lieutenant Sanguinaries. The new buddy system lets you directly control one hero while the other assists in combat, switching freely to exploit each character's unique equipment and abilities, echoing the dual character system from Castlevania: Portrait of Ruin. Exploration rewards you with relics, crafting ingredients, and gear with unique stats and appearance, all set across Bloodstained's largest map yet, complete with full day-night cycles. OTHERSIDE, Untamed Words. If you're chasing that Hollow Knight and Silksong energy, but want something with a fresh coat of paint, OTHERSIDE, Untamed Words delivers it with real charm. This 2D hand-drawn Metroidvania stars Mao, a cat warrior awakened from a deep slumber, armed with a sword and a brush, as she ventures alone into the mysterious beast kingdom of the lunar capital. The setting is genuinely evocative, an ancient, once prosperous kingdom now abandoned and devastated by plague, its ruins now overrun by warring clans, each shaped by their own different cultures. You'll forge bonds with unlikely allies, learn different tribal languages to unlock deeper world truths, and hone your skills while piecing together both the Fallen Kingdom's history and the secrets of your own lineage. The hand-drawn art style is gorgeous and distinct, giving the world a painterly storybook quality that stands apart from the usual pixel art crowd. With a cat protagonist, a brush as a weapon, and rich cultural world building baked into exploration, OTHERSIDE is shaping up to be one of the genre's most visually memorable newcomers. Before I go, solo developer Jerome Coppens spent 5 years building this one under his studio, Jay's Laboratory, and Before I Go stands out as one of the most quietly devastating Metroidvanias of the year. You embody an innocent inner child trapped in limbo, journeying through a dreamlike, symbolic world toward the acceptance of death. No direct exposition, just quiet imagery and atmosphere doing the emotional heavy lifting. The world itself is old and unwell, its inhabitants left weak and terrified by an unnamed affliction, while only childlike innocence remains untainted by the despair. Mindlessly, this is a genuinely punishing side-scrolling action platformer, distilling classic genre design to its purest, most demanding form. The difficulty leans hard into precision platforming over boss fights, which feels refreshing in a genre often built the other way around. The melancholic soundtrack and foreboding art style tie the whole experience together into something contemplative rather than bleak for its own sake. If you want a Metroidvania that lingers with you after the credits roll, Before I Go is essential. Dewdrop Dynasty. After 6 years of development from Firith Studio, Dewdrop Dynasty finally launched, and its central idea is smarter than it first looks. It ditches the classic double jump for a gun jump, where firing Poe's pistol downward both deals damage and launches you upward. It's a genuinely structural design choice. The ammo you spend traversing is ammo you can't spend fighting, coupling movement and combat in a way most Metroidvanias keep separate. You're exploring the interconnected land of Dewdrop, packed with various biomes, hidden secrets, and delightfully strange inhabitants, all wrapped in Paper Mario-style humor and charm layered over Hollow Knight-tight action. The retro-inspired pixel art and catchy soundtrack give the whole thing real personality, standing out in a genre that leans heavily grimdark. It's not without rough edges. Some players note backtracking and a shorter runtime than expected, but the movement alone has won plenty of fans. If you want a lighthearted, family-friendly Metroidvania with real mechanical bite, Dewdrop Dynasty delivers exactly that. Hope 01. Solo developer Bending Boy Games set out to smash together two genres that rarely meet, and Hope 01 is the result. A genuine hybrid of Metroidvania exploration and extraction shooter tension. You wake up in a deteriorating underground facility with nothing but a mysterious directive to find the legendary HAB 01. And from there, it's on you to navigate a perilous, interconnected labyrinth of what once was. The extraction loop is where this gets interesting. Loot, weapons, armor, and gadgets while fighting through hostile enemies and bosses. Then, decide whether to push deeper or retreat to your hideout with your spoils. Die before extracting, and you lose everything you've collected. Real stakes on every run. A fabricator system lets you scan and later print items you've found, so smart runs pay off for future expeditions. While your choices, helping survivors along the way, ultimately shape one of multiple endings. Weapons carry genuine stat depth too, with rate of fire, muzzle velocity, and penetration all factoring into loadout strategy. Currently in early access, Hope 01 is a fascinating experiment in genre blending worth keeping an eye on. Candellum. Sometimes the wildest concept comes from a student project, and Candellum is proof. Built over 9 months by 17 students at ISART Digital Paris, this top-down hack and slash puts you in the role of a candle warrior in a world where fire literally is life. Your flame is your health bar, and it does not regenerate on its own. Trapped in a dormant wax factory, crawling with hostile fellow candle warriors, you'll need to rip wax from defeated enemies just to keep burning, turning every fight into an aggressive, high-stakes balancing act between offense and self-preservation. Combat mixes intense hack-and-slash action with environmental puzzles, and enemy variety ranges from nimble candle scouts to hulking wax brutes, each demanding a different tactical approach. Before you face the factory's formidable final guardian, visually, it channels serious Little Nightmares and Hades energy with an incredible orchestral score blending tribal and industrial instrumentation. Free to play, BAFTA Student Award longlisted, and sitting at 96% positive on Steam, Candellum proves student projects can absolutely go toe-to-toe with full studio releases. MIO Memories in Orbit. If Silksong left you craving more, brutal, beautiful punishment, French studio Douze Dixiems has you covered. MIO Memories in Orbit is a hand-drawn sci-fi Metroidvania that critics are already calling one of the year's genre standouts. And after diving in, it's easy to see why. You play MIO, a small android awakening alone aboard the vessel, a massive derelict ark whose AI caretakers, the Pearls, have mysteriously stopped functioning. Its corridors are now overgrown with vegetation and stalked by malfunctioning machines. Exploration rewards you with fragments of lost memory as you unravel both MIO's true purpose and the ship's collapse, while precision platforming and dynamic anime-inflected combat gate your progress through the vessel's sprawling biomes. The visuals are the real showstopper. Soft watercolor tones, pencil crosshatch outlines, and genuine 3D depth in a 2D frame, giving every environment real scale and presence. It's punishingly difficult, occasionally maze-like in its backtracking, but the climb is worth it. Dumbriel, magnificent adventure in hell. Madmoa's Kickstarter for Dumbriel got fully funded, and honestly, once you see it, it's easy to understand why fans jumped in fast. This 2D Metroidvania sends you into hell as, of all things, a clumsy fallen angel navigating a twisted underworld filled with weird monsters, hellish traps, and deadly arenas built to test your reflexes. The core loop is classic Souls meets Metroidvania. Die, upgrade, dive back in. Slash and dodge your way through fast-paced strategic combat with a growing arsenal of abilities and spells that let you shape your playstyle, unlocking new areas as you earn fresh powers. The bosses are the real highlight, multi-phase fights with real personality and backstory baked into the lore, not just reskinned enemy patterns. And early testers have already flagged them as genuinely hardcore. The hand-drawn art has drawn comparisons to Ori and Hollow Knight, and with crafting layered into the exploration loop, Dumbriel is shaping up to be a demanding, atmospheric descent worth watching closely as development continues. Mariachi Legends. Halberd Studios, the team behind 9 Years of Shadows, is back with something completely different. A brutal pixel art Metroidvania steeped in Mexican folklore. Set in 1986, Santa Mascota, Mariachi Legends casts you as Pablo Cruz, a detective who strikes a desperate bargain with death herself to save his hometown from a violent gang. In exchange for tracking down the one man who's ever cheated death and become immortal, Lady Death grants Pablo the power to transform into La Sombra, a mariachi-suited, sword-wielding avenger. But there's real thematic weight here. La Sombra isn't just a costume. It's a duality that seems to be quietly reshaping who Pablo is. And that tension runs through the entire story. Combat is the star here, blending side-scrolling beat-em-up action with parries, finishers, and a huge arsenal from guns and swords to whips and magic. A tarot system layers buffs and debuffs into your build, adding real strategic depth on top of the visceral action. And that's a wrap on 25 of the most exciting Metroidvanias 2026 has to offer. If this list helped you find your next obsession, hit that like and subscribe button. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Let me know in the comments which of these you're most hyped for. Thank you for watching, and until next time.